So after thinking about this for a while, I'm gonna do a video for y'all about my Japan pickups. Don't really know how it's organized, but I think I'm first gonna go over the secondhand and vintage cups I made. Then I'll go over some of the new items I have. I've gotten so much that some stuff's on the ground, so all the new stuff is bagged up. I'll go over those after, and then probably lastly I'll go over like trousers and pants and accessories. Regardless, just want to give a quick shout out to my two most worn items of the trip because it wouldn't have been the same without it. First is this Acronym jacket. It is actually the first purchase I made from Acronym, and I totally understand the whole tech wear fascination some people have. This thing is waterproof and windproof, and I can wear it as a coach jacket, as a zip up, as a packable hood, as a strap inside for a backpack. So I had this on me 24/7 in Japan, rain, snow, sunshine, walking all day, still comfortable, wasn't sweating it up in this. So I totally get it now, and this shit really saved my life. I'm glad I checked the weather before because I thought it was gonna be warm for the spring. It was fucking freezing. But yeah, Acronym jacket, definitely number one. Grateful worn item I had. And then your boy's favorites, the Fragments. This is my biggest purchase of last year. I knew going into Japan I wanted to beat the shit out of these. I bought a couple pairs, or brought a couple pairs to beat up, but these ones I definitely wore the most. Temples, eating, walking, definitely shopping. I wore these for everything and pretty beat the fuck up now. No, you probably can't tell, I just cleaned them. The toes and heel are cooked. So very happy I gotta make some memories with those on toe. But enough yapping. Let's get over to some pickups and move this out of the way. Sorry for the cake. But yeah, I have everything kind of spread out. And I'll probably go, I like all the cups I made, but I'll probably go from somewhat least favorite to most favorite. And like I said, I'll go over some of the new things if I have space. First and foremost, it's this gray Converse Tokyo crew neck. It's super fucking oversized. I'm a big fan of Converse Tokyo. I like the new models that they make better with the materials. I didn't have enough space in my luggage to cop any kicks at all, which is kind of sad. But yeah, I settled for a crew neck. It's nice. Probably gonna use it more as a pajama here in the States. I wore it to Disneyland over in Japan, and it fared me well. But other than that, that's probably it. Next is a jacket I got from a secondhand vintage store in Kyoto. Yo, low-key Kyoto shopping I prefer over Tokyo. It's a little bit more curated, and they have areas kind of spread out throughout the city where you can get certain garments. So some places only have jackets, some places only have trousers. The specific place that me and my girl had gone to after eating had a lot of secondhand outerwear and like 60s to 80s Americana, which is kind of where I'm feeling at the moment. So spotted this on a mannequin. Dude in the store helped me out, but it's just like a very lightly downed red bomber jacket based on the cut. It's super thin. It was always super comfortable to wear over a hoodie. Like I said, it was fucking freezing over there. It was super windy most days too. But I really like the color. I don't wear red very much. I think it's too loud of a statement on me, but this one serves it well since it has black cuffs and a black ribbing at the neck. So goes with a lot of things I could wear out. Next is a Western chambray denim shirt. I got this in Osaka. It's one of my only purchases I made in Osaka. We did a lot of eating, not much shopping, and everything was far in Osaka. Kind of underestimated the distance between areas over there, so that's that. But regardless, copped this on my second to last day in Osaka. It was from a Japanese guy named Nao. Super cool dude. Spoke very little English, but one thing that we really connected on was In and Out. So glad I got to have that memory with him. But yeah, I've been looking for like a solid everyday denim shirt because it's something I can wear to the office and casually with friends if we go to a drink or something. But Anyways, I really like the color of this. The fade is super cool. Hopefully the lighting does it justice. And one of my favorite things about it, besides the cut and fit on myself, is that it has brass buttons. So a little bit of a different accessory. It gives it an accent, especially if I wear like a long sleeve under it or wear it unbuttoned towards the bottom. But it's just a little detail I like a little bit more than any standard Western button up. Like I mentioned, the cut is great on me. Has a little bit of a longer, elongated collar here, so it makes your boy's jawline stand out. So that's always a plus. But yeah, loved it. It was like 60 bucks. You should probably go over the pricing before I get. This was 60. I think this red bomber was like 30 or 35. Super good value. And then Converse, of course. This one was like 100. But I really wanted something from Converse, and I got it in Tokyo on the first day that we shopped around. So super grateful for that. Some of the things we go over next are the pickups I got from Kojima Jean Street, a grail and kind of bucket list thing my brother and I wanted to do was hit Kojima, which is a small suburb in the province of Okayama, which is like 3 hours away from Kyoto. We had to take like an hour bullet train over there, but it was super cool. We've always wanted to go with my dad, but he wasn't able to make this trip with us, so it was just me and my bro, looking at denim all day. Spent about 8 hours there, and it was a fucking blast, man. It's probably the #1 memory I have coming back home, something I think about frequently now. But we got a lot of pickups. It was awesome to see my brother actually shop. He's not one to shop, but dude was spending more dough than me. So obviously it's denim, so I have a lot of the other things behind the camera I'll be going over after this. I'll probably make a separate like accessories and pants, trousers video. But regardless, here's some things I want to go over with you guys that I got from Jean Street. These first two are from a small store on the block called Blue Sakura. Of course, everything made in Japan, and it's a lot of simple basics that they present. This one is just a simple black t-shirt. I don't have that many black tees, surprisingly. I'm a white t-shirt type of guy. But this one is very soft to the touch. It's loop wheel, so it's very, very nicely constructed. Double stitch on all the ribbings and collar. And then the small little detail that makes it a little bit more than just a black t-shirt is the reverse stitching actually on the back. So I don't know if it'll show. Yeah, the lighting's kind of shit. But, oh yeah, that's it a little bit. So they actually reverse the stitching here. This is usually on the back when you wear your shirt. And then the inside out looks normal, like a normal single stitch. But I thought that was super cool. Denim and cotton in Japan is super cheap since it's mass produced over there on looms. So I think this was maybe like 18 bucks or 19 bucks. It's super high quality. They have their label here, which is authentic Japan denimism. A little bit lost in translation. They have their B and S, Blue Sakura label right there. And probably the #1 thing that you'll see on this garment and the rest of all theirs is they actually attach separate selvage on each piece. So I think that's super cool. Selvage is something you usually only see on denim hem. So when you see it on a piece of outerwear or shirting, I think that's really cool and different. Next, also from Blue Sakura, is a cream colored crew neck. Again, it's loop wheel, which I'm a little bit hit or miss on outerwear, just because since it is on a traditional loom, the stitching is a little bit longer usually. So like, for example, the hem here for your wrist, as well as the collar, are super long. So usually for this diagonal pattern, I prefer it to be a little shorter or none on my crew necks. And then especially since I'm a shorter guy, longer sleeves isn't really preferable. It makes my arms look super short, and then I just look like a 12-year-old kid. But regardless, still like this enough to cop. It's a very nice cream color. I know the lighting doesn't really do it justice. Whitish or cream never looks really good on camera, but the color's super nice. Can't wait to wear this in the spring if it stays, somewhat cold. And then of course, like I mentioned, for all these Blue Sakura items, there's hits of selvage everywhere. So on the back side, on the ribbing here, it's all along on both sides, which is super dope. That was one of the things that I saw originally, and then after starting paying more attention, I saw it on all the other ones. All right, so one of the last things I have on this rack from Kojima is a open knit crew neck shirt. I'm really into outerwear right now, especially ones that I can wear in the office and out. And this one was perfect. It's from another Kojima store called Edge of Line. Again, probably mistranslation there, but it's very nice raglan cut with a nice open knit. I really prefer open knit because that means I can wear a shirt under it without getting like sweaty or itchy in it. So I always prefer open knit over heavy gauge. But regardless, there's not much branding on this at all. There's not even an inside tag, just a care tag towards the bottom of the hem. But adversely to what I said before, this is still loop wheel just because of the heaviness of the cotton. I think it's a 95.5 cotton polyester blend, so it's a little bit more comfortable too. But on this one, has the shorter sleeve length I prefer. There is no diagonal pattern, and of course it's a raglan cut, so the drop shoulders are a little bit more flattering to my figure, and I could usually wear these, or get away with wearing these in slacks, pants, and shorts. So super nice. It's just a really simple black crew neck at the end of the day, but something that's harder and harder to find in good quality and with good fitting on me. So had to spend the dough for this. I think this one was a little bit on the pricier side. It was $140, but it was the last size medium, and I put it on when my brother said you got to get it. So once the neighbor says you got to get it, that's it. But yeah, so those are the Kojima pickups for now. Like I mentioned, there's a couple that I'd like to show that are more denim related, which is the bulk of what you go to Kojima for. But for these last 5 or so pickups, they're among my favorites that I did pick up in Japan. So I'll go over these first 3, which were actually from the same store. It's one of my favorite stores now in all of Japan that I visited. It's called GOAT, and it's a used clothing and secondhand vintage store over in Kyoto, right next to Nishiki Market. And these motherfuckers were stacked. Me and my girl went in there, looking through all the racks. One of the things I love about Japan is that they organize all their clothing very, very like aesthetically. It's kind of like Erewhon, how everything's separated by colors, and then once you actually get to the rack of colors, let's say everything's green, it's separated by size. So like you can go just straight to the middle of the rack if you know you're medium or large, and then just go crazy. But that store was basically set up like that, and me and my girl liked almost everything they had in there. So I tried on like 18 things. It was awful. But I ended up only picking up these 3, and one of the better memories I have of this that I'll tell you all is that the guy that was helping me was an A1 enabler. I got his number and everything because he was a cool dude. His name is Aki, and this guy could barely speak English, but every time I put something on, he would be like, nice, nice, nice. And then when I give him like the thumbs up, which in Japan usually means like, since a lot of mistranslation, it means like I'll get it or I'll cop it or like put it on the rack for me, he would always say let's go, which cracked me up because it's super American slang. But shout out to Aki for helping me out and having the patience. Like I said, I tried out like 20 different things, so that guy's a goat in itself. First thing I want to go over though is this button up. It's like a bluish purple shade, and it's a little bit out of my element, not gonna lie, but I'm hoping I can rock it with some flares, a jacket over it, maybe even a vest if I'm feeling like super Western. I don't know, I gotta start experimenting a little bit more, but the print is super nice and niche. I don't think the camera's picking it up well, but yeah, it's a very good mix of blue and purple, and then it's a nice, like, it's probably not silk. It feels like silk. There's no care tag on this since it's vintage, and no tag on the front, so I don't even know what brand it is, but it's probably some type of like acrylic and polyester blend, maybe even rayon, but definitely not silk just because of the price I paid. I think this one was like 80, but super excited to wear it. It's also a long sleeve. I don't have many long sleeve dress shirts, so with the Cuban collar on here, I think it should be something I can experiment with and enjoy depending on what silhouette I'm going for. This next one is a crew neck. that I wore actually a couple times while we were actually still in Japan. It's like a green, gray, and black, which are like the main colors I tend to wear year round. That's just the colors I feel confident in and go well with my body type. This one, super chill. It's a acrylic knit for sure. It's not itchy, which is always a plus, and it fits me well. The hem is super nice and short, matches the sleeves, which are a little bit boxier. This tends to fit a little bit wide, so when I wear it with my flares and then like slimmer shoes, like the LV trainers, or even a pair of Vans, like the Joan Vans, it looks really good and really slim. Makes me look like a Korean model, so that's never a bad thing. But yeah, another pickup from GOAT. Shout out to Aki. And then my favorite one, my favorite pickup from GOAT is a simple black jacket. So let me tell y'all real quick before I go into it. I picked this off the rack, and there was a couple people in there that were looking at stuff too. But of course, when you have 20 items that you're fitting on, there's a lot to keep track of. And a dude actually snatched this from my pile while I was trying on other clothes, and I didn't notice until I was like, yo, where's that black jacket I wanted? And then my girl told me, oh, that guy's trying it on. And I swear, I thought this motherfucker was gonna purchase it. I was mad salty, because this is one of the things I looked at and I was like, if it fits, I'm copping. And I didn't even get to try it on yet. But luckily, he put it back, and as soon as he left the store, I fucking grabbed that shit and claimed it. So, as you guys can tell, it's a super simple black zip-up with really nice details I like. First and foremost, it has Cobrax buttons, both on the side pockets and the sleeves. If you guys aren't familiar with Cobrax, it's the same buttons that Prada and Hermes uses for their ready-to-wear line. But it's super simple buttons. I'm sure you've seen it on like outerwear before. But the thing why they're significant is, one, it's a really clean and smooth click, and they're also like since they're flat around the edges here, they don't get stuck on anything. So when like you're walking, or if you're putting on another piece of outerwear, they don't snag, which is something I tend to always get in trouble with, because I wear a lot of knits under my jacket, and it pisses me the fuck off because it stretches shit out. But the buttons are here are Cobrax, and then another thing are these, it has Riri zippers, which are used in Prada as well, and it's a double zip, so I can change the silhouette. I didn't go over it, but the quality on this is super nice. One of my favorite materials to wear, especially for outerwear, is gabardine, just because it looks clean. It really gives you that quiet luxury look, so to speak. And when I was trying this on, Aki was actually telling me it's vintage Jill Sander, which kind of makes sense with all the small little details. But I don't know if he meant that just so I could buy it, or if he says it reminds him of Jill Sander, just because I don't feel like a random vintage store, which is have 90s Jill Sander on the racks, but who knows. It has Cobrax buttons, has Riri zippers, a double zip, a gabardine mix, and this is one of my favorite pickups of all of my Japan trip. It fits me really well, and I'll probably end up sending you all guys pics or something to show how everything fits me. It's just a little bit of a time crunch, so I can't keep taking on and taking off clothes, or putting on and taking off clothes. But yeah, love this jacket. And yeah, shout out to Aki over in GOAT Kyoto, one of my favorite stores. I got that shit pinned on maps, and next time I be in Japan, whenever that is, that's definitely a spot I'll be looking forward to. So these last two I have on the rack are my two favorite pickups out of the whole trip, albeit for one custom item that I made personally with my brother that isn't going to be coming in for a couple months, so that's something that I'll have to wait on. But these next two pickups are a little bit out of my element, but I love both of them, and I wore both of them while we were in Japan, so super excited about that. This first one is a linen shirt from Blue Trick, which was also in Kojima on Jean Street, and I'm not one to wear linen. I was never really a fan, just because it reminds me of like potato sack material, which it basically is. That's what linen is used for, other than like sheets and stuff. But I really, really like the color of this. Again, I don't think the camera's doing it justice, but it's a really, really nice like tan beige cross, and then the stitching all over the jacket is super nice. So I was actually talking to the owner of the store, who was our associate helping us out, thankfully, and she had mentioned that they had worked on this jacket as a prototype for like 9 months, before only making like 10, and I have like 2 out of the last 3 mediums. So super stoked for that. That's something when I'm shopping, I'm sure you guys know if you know me well, if they say it's like a one of one or like limited run, I usually like super swayed by that, just because I always have a feeling that if I leave something and then come back and think about like, oh, I'll cop it later, it's usually going to be gone. That's just my luck. So whenever I hear that, kind of persuades me a little bit more to make the purchase. But regardless, just to go over the quick details, like I said, a linen build. All the buttons on here are bamboo buttons. Again, gotta love Japan quality. So that's just something they have abundant there that really helps make some of their garments a little bit more special. There's the Bluetrick label right there. It just says Bluetrick and then has a map, so to speak, of Okayama, the area. And then on the front, both on the pockets and on the hem here, is red stitching, which is super cool. On the, which I don't think the camera's gonna pick up, but on the sleeve hems and shoulders, it's all yellow stitching. And then in the interior, they have green stitching throughout. So that was an awesome detail, something she said she really wanted to add, because those things will fade as you wear it. So yeah, it's a linen shirt by Bluetrick. I wore this a couple times. As you can see, it's already creasing, since linen is such a fragile material, in the sleeves and the back, which I already love. But yeah, can't wait to wear this in America. I can put this over a shirt, I can put it over a hoodie. It's right in between the sizing on a medium, where it fits me really well with and without outerwear. And I think even if I wanted to, I could probably pull this off with like a tank top tucked into some flares. But I don't know, I have to wait for summer for it to fit like that. But super excited to have this. It's a top 3 purchase for me, and since my brother was there, has a lot of meaning to me as well. And then lastly, was probably my last purchase over in Tokyo before we left. Me and my girl had a lot of time on our second to last day to just kind of explore, and I kind of had my Google Maps open with all the stores I wanted to hit while we were there. And one of them was Sino clothing, or Sinot, and I was put onto it by a couple of videos that Tom had posted, either with or without Ken, and they would hit this place up because they have a lot of vintage French workwear and just crazy, like pre-1950s. That's like what they specialize in. So I had to take a look, just at least to feel the material of the products they have, as well as just like see their curation, because every time I saw in the video, it was insane. Dudes would be wearing like a 1910s gold miner chore coat, which is like, what the fuck, that's like a museum piece. But I went in there, it was an amazing experience and everything I could have asked for and more. And luckily I had just enough dough in the bank and in the wallet to purchase something to come home with. So besides the custom jeans I made, this is probably right behind them, if not tied. But this is my one and only purchase from Sino Clothing. I know it doesn't seem something super substantial, but I'll go over the details in a bit. It is a 1940s French moleskin firefighter jacket. So this is one of the jackets they would wear under their fireproof wear, just to keep warm in the cold, or, you know, to keep them insulated from, you know, getting burned or anything like that, as it was explained to me. But it is a super, super nice worn moleskin. So the fading is super clean. It's super soft to the touch. And it was probably like a beige, a dark brown, or like Carhartt duck canvas looking beige. But it's faded to the super nice tan. Like almost, if you guys are familiar, it kind of looks similar to the color of like my Margiela flares, where it's like a cross between like a super nice tan and like a darker beige. It's like really hard to achieve. Usually you see it on nice vintage like Russell hoodies. But yeah, This is the 1940s French moleskin firefighter jacket. It has a bunch of distressing all over the place. I'll just go over it little by little. There's a hit right there in the back sleeve here. All this repairing, this boro done in a very nice like black and brown thread. So it looks really good. And then just a simple zipper. It is non-branded, chic. Who knows what the fuck that is? Yeah, but they have that. And then one of my favorite small details is the slanted pockets. I think that gives it a really nice detail. Makes it look a little bit different than a Carhartt Detroit, which I'll be honest, it kind of looks like from just the pictures here, or just the camera picking it up. Yeah, man, really love this. I'm excited for y'all to see it in person because it's something that's a little bit better when you get to see the details up close. But yeah, all the nice distressings. And of course, I can't forget, shout out to the firefighter who wore this. A.P. Michaud. Thank you for your service, sir. Crazy that you were sweating in this and now wearing it as a piece of fashion. I know that sounds gross, but it's something that's super cool to me when clothes are recycled like that. But I actually wore this on the flight back to Japan. It was fucking sick. So, cleaned it up just a little bit. Sprayed some deodorizer just because it had that vintage smell to it. But other than that, man, how nice. The lighting's coming in just a bit. That's that. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the first part. I'm just gonna cut this short because I have some stuff that I'd like to go over near my feet here. One of them being my second favorite store in Kyoto that I had been looking forward to. A couple stories about that. Of course, something I didn't go over among all these pickups is like basic t-shirts besides the blue Sakura one. I got t-shirts that are all bagged up, of course, as well as of course, something I can't miss is the trousers. So I know that's something that's super clean to me. I'm very selective about my pants, but I got some in Japan. Can't wait to show y'all, especially some accessories, things like socks and like random stuff, like laptop cases that are full boro and vintage bandana. So I'll go over those in a bit. Hopefully you guys like this. Don't know how I'm gonna send it. Might have to post it on YouTube, unlisted or something. But yeah, appreciate you all. As you can tell, I'm super excited to show you guys these. It was one of probably my favorite trip of my life. Not that I've gone on many, but being there with my family and having a pretty unlimited budget this time around made me feel super lucky, and I just got to take advantage of all the time I had there. So hopefully see you guys soon. Let me know what y'all think, and I'll post everything else accordingly. Take it easy.